In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire, and with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bolts peeled apart their stone skills. The witches weaved great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease. And Seath the Scaleless betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more. Thus began the Age of Fire. But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers. And man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side. Yes, indeed. The dark sign brands the undead. And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world. This is your fate.
What is up, folks? This is Ericast, and welcome to Dark Souls 1. Alright, so this is the Prepare to Die edition. What other version would I be playing? But I've been kind of wanting to go back through it. I've put in about 90-ish hours into the Prepare to Die edition, and probably another 100 or so, maybe even more, into the original. But it's been quite a while since not only this came out, but I've spent any time in it at all. So I figured I'd go ahead and record it. Let's go ahead and pick up the dungeon cell key. Like I said, it's been a while, so I don't know that I'm going to get every single secret, just because it has been so long, but we'll work on it. Alright, so as far as my setup from character creation, let's go ahead and look. I guess view status might be the best way. Maybe not. What is it? Toggle status? No. Honestly, I'm not sure I remember how to do that. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so I've got the Wanderer setup to start off. I'm not gonna give anything away about how exactly I'm gonna play. Well, we'll figure that out as we go. But I do have the Master Key. That's really the one that you want to go with. There are a couple other items you could go with, theoretically, especially if you get the Thief class, then you start off with the Master Key no matter what. But I went ahead and went with the Wanderer. It's a pretty low level class, while still having pretty good stats for where I want to head, so yeah. Let's go ahead and head up here. Now, we will not be facing this first boss with just the broken sword. That doesn't seem like it'd be a very good use of video time unless I was doing a tutorial on how to kill the first boss. You know, honestly, he's not very hard, and it's totally possible, but there's no reason really to do it, so I'm not going to. But yeah, just run to the door to the right or left if you have not played Dark Souls 1 before, which actually I imagine there's probably quite a few people out there who haven't, that have played Dark Souls 2 but have not played Dark Souls 1. Leather shield. I've thought about getting a capture card. Oops, that's not what I want. And recording a playthrough of Demon Souls, because I imagine there's a lot of people, really a lot of people out there who have not played Demon Souls, because it was never released on the PC, which I think is a shame, because I don't know that I would say it's my favorite of them, but it's really good, and I absolutely love Demon Souls. But honestly, I don't know that I really have a favorite out of all of them. I enjoyed all of them, so I think this one probably has the best expansion to it. The expansions for Dark Souls 2 were really good, but especially as they went on. But I think I like this one the best. Alright, so trigger that to roll down. Don't die to it. It's really a shame. Actually, I don't know. It's been so long since I've been hit by it, I can't remember if it'll actually kill you in one hit. I think it does. I'm not sure.
Oh, you. You're no hollow. Hmm? Thank goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon, then lose my sanity. I wish to ask something of you. You and I were both undead. Hear me out, will you? Regrettably, I have failed in my mission, but perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family: thou who art undead art chosen, and thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know, and I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask, an undead favorite. and this. Now I must bid farewell. I would hate to harm you after death. So go now, and thank you.
So one thing I will say is that I am playing with DSFix. You kind of need to. I've always played with it, but they've actually done a lot of updating to it. Well, they did a lot of updating to it like a year ago. But I haven't played since then. So there's a lot of really awesome options that you can use in the DSFix INI. And I would recommend going through that and setting it up to your liking. This game was not made to run in 1080p, and it was not made to run at 60 FPS either. So there are some visual artifacts that you'll probably see in my videos, but honestly, I think the alternative is much worse, because the game doesn't really look that great unless you're using the DSFix, so I would recommend doing so. Now, you don't really need to go after this guy, but he's so easily backstabbed, and I screwed it up. Oh, come on. There we go. Let's say he's pretty easy to backstab, so, and he's on his own. Now, we can't go through that door just yet, but we'll come back later when we do get the key, and we'll go through it. Always do a plunging attack on this guy. There's no reason not to. It does it for 1/3 of his health, so, I mean, why not? It's really what you're supposed to learn from that whole experience. And that didn't turn out very good. But with this guy, you really just want to stay behind him. He's really easy if you do so. He will float up in the air. I would recommend having your shield up, because you may or may not be far enough behind him. At that time it was, but you can get in a good 2 or 3 attacks. I usually do 2 just because it's a little safer, but you can get in 3. And also roll through that, so. When he does that, back up. Because otherwise, you go splat. Oh, yeah. Rolling and invincibility frames are a little bit different in Dark Souls 1 than they are in Dark Souls 2. That was one of the changes I actually liked. I like the invincibility frames in Dark Souls 2 a little bit better. Oh, it's the wrong way. Alright, got humanity. But I don't know, there's several things. Like, a lot of people really hate on Dark Souls 2, but the combat in Dark Souls 2 is much, much better than it is in Dark Souls 1. Like, the parry fishing and PvP that goes on in Dark Souls 1 is ridiculous. I used to absolutely hate how it worked.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen. To leave the undead asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.
Alright, so bonfires work very similarly in Dark Souls 1 as they do in Dark Souls 2, but you don't have the ability to teleport right away, which I think is... Well, I liked the fact that you could teleport right away in Dark Souls 2. Made moving around much easier, obviously, but I can see why people would like to not have it. I mean, it's kind of the same idea in... Oh, I actually can level up. Okay. Playing a game, an open world game, without using fast travel. So, kind of the same idea. Alright, so what do we want to go for first? I've got a decent amount of dex. Resistance, not really a big deal. Resistance works off of your immunities, or not necessarily immunities, but resistances, well, to different poisons and stuff like that, like poison, disease, curse, that kind of thing, bleed. What are we going to do? I think I'll go ahead and add... Let's go ahead and get our endurance up to 20. And 20 is a really good base endurance for you to go for, so I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so accept. I'll take us up a few levels to level 6. Alright, we can't kindle yet. We could theoretically reverse hollow, but there's not really a need to. So let's go ahead and leave. Let's see what this guy has to say.
Well, what do we have here? You must be a new arrival. Let me guess. Fate of the undead, right? Well, you're not the first. But there's no salvation here. You'd have done better to rot in the undead asylum. But too late now. Well, since you're here, let me help you out. There are, actually, 2 bells of awakening. One's up above in the undead church. The other is far, far below, in the ruins at the base of Blight Town. Ring them both, and something happened. Brilliant, right? Not much to go on, but I have a feeling that won't stop you. So, off you go. It is why you came, isn't it? To this accursed land of the undead? Ah, your face. You're practically hollow. But who knows? Going hollow could solve quite a bit. What? Restoring your humanity? Well, there are a few ways to go about it. Collected bit by bit from corpses. Or you can butter up a cleric and get yourself summoned. And the quickest way, although I'd never do it, is to kill a healthy undead and pillage its humanity. Coveting thy neighbor is only human, after all.
That is actually a point that I like about Dark Souls 1 and Demon Souls especially. There is actually a good reason to kill off NPCs. Dark Souls 2, there isn't a reason, really. Well, there is the quest line that you can do in Dark Souls 2, but you can get around killing them, which in Demon Souls, there's a similar quest line that you did for Mephisto that there wasn't a way around it. Either you did the quest line or you didn't, and killed everybody or didn't. Which honestly I liked a lot. I mean, theoretically I liked having the option to do do the Dark Souls 2 quest line without killing anybody. But I don't know. I kind of liked the Demon Souls version better.
What are you looking at? Don't try anything clever. You might regret it. What? You want to hear more? Oh, that's all we need. Another inquisitive soul. Well, listen carefully then. One of the bells is up above in the undead church, but the lift is broken. You'll have to climb the stairs up the ruins and access the undead burg through the waterway. The other bell is back down below the undead burg, within the plague-infested Blight Town. But I'd die again before I step foot in that cesspool.
Yeah. Not as bad as the Demon Souls version of it, but
Bloody hell, what is it now? You ask too many questions.
Alright, fine, I'll leave it alone. Alright, so we're gonna go around and through humanity, nice. Let's see. There's somebody over here, isn't there? Like I said, it's been a while. So I'm gonna go, I think, actually, oh, I need the elevator to get up there. But I can get an item from back here, I think, right? Yeah, firebombs. Awesome. Those are situationally useful. Very situationally useful. But, I mean, that's kind of the same thing in the rest of the games. But, whatever. Alright. What do you have to say?
Hello there. I believe we are not acquainted. I am Petrus of Thoroland. Have you business with us? If not, I prefer to keep a distance, if possible.
That's not very nice.
Hello there. I realize that I have requested that we retain our distance. But I also want you to know that it is not meant in ill will. Here, take this, as a token of peace. No, go ahead. It's for you.
Why, thank you for that thing that I have no use for.
Oh my, you again. Oh, I know. How about this? I have to await my companions here anyway. So what if I were to teach you some miracles? Would that please you?
That'd be great. I don't have any souls, but...
Very well. Then first, a covenant with the gods.
No, this one you might as well go ahead and do, because there's no reason not to. You don't have another covenant at the moment, so just accept it. It didn't hurt anything.
Now let me share my miracles. Only their ultimate effectiveness will be determined by your efforts and your faith.
Now, I don't think I really have much faith to really go on at the moment. And I definitely don't have the souls to buy stuff like this. Don't buy this stuff here. Usually you don't want to buy catalysts because you can pick them up from, you know, the world very, very easily. So, heal is a good one to get early on. Homeward also, especially since you don't have the travel from bonfire to bonfire until much later on. Homeward is actually something that's very, very useful to have. Force is very helpful because you can actually deflect spells with it. I didn't know that until recently, actually. Recently being like the last year. But this game's have been out a while, so. But you'll want to go ahead and learn the gesture as well. Shrug. Alright.
My companions are Milady and her young knights. She is young, but burdened by an undead mission. We are her defenses, to keep her from harm. An undead mission? Regrettably, I cannot share that with you. But you are my pupil. Perhaps if you show your faith.
No.
I'm afraid that may be difficult, for our missions are sacred.
You can actually donate, and he'll get more and more and more souls from you. But if you have it, he can actually unlock some interesting dialogue.
The effectiveness of the teachings depend upon your faith.
And we might do it just for the sake of you guys hearing it, but at the moment, I just don't have many souls, so I can't remember if there's anything back here or not. I don't think there is. This leads to the elevator that the Crestfallen Knight talked about. But you can also just drop right down here and get some stuff, which is nice. Always do this because, like I said, don't buy the talisman because, well, there's some homeward bones, but in one of these chests, hey, look at that, Morning Star and a talisman. And actually the Morning Star is a fairly good weapon. It's a blunt weapon, so you might need it against any skeletons that you run into. But that's another thing that's interesting about this game as opposed to Dark Souls 2. In Dark Souls 2, you can use pretty much whatever weapon you want and you're fine. Unless the boss has, and it's usually just bosses, have a particular resistance to, say, fire or lightning. There's a funky texture there. But besides that, or magic, of course. But besides that, it doesn't really matter. But Dark Souls 1, hello Raven, and of course Demon Souls to even a greater extent, it really matters what weapons you use when you're attacking things. If you're fighting a skeleton, you don't want to be using a slashing weapon, because it'll do practically no damage whatsoever. So you want to use a blunt weapon or a holy weapon, something that's has lightning on it, or something like that. Oh, hello. I didn't think you would actually follow me this far. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Depends on if they see you. But you can, well, I thought you could reset a bonfire or reset him. Maybe he'll just ignore me. Yeah, there you go. He's backing up now. But he's still too close for me to use the bonfire. I actually want my health back. There we go. Alright, so next trip next thing we're gonna do is go down this path. The path forward is actually that one. So if you can see that winding staircase, and that's the aqueduct that you need to go through. But we'll head up there in a little bit after we go and see somebody else. Actually, folks, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. This is a pretty good stopping point. I'm going to head down this way in the next episode, and we'll see what's down there. There's actually something I want to get that's down there, and, well, you might see my first deaths with it, because the things that, while you can get to the area where the item is, well, let's just say you need some more levels to really be able to fight the things that are down there, because they're pretty nasty. But yeah, anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Hopefully you're excited for the series. I'm certainly excited to get back to playing this. I love Dark Souls games. I love the Souls games, period. I wish I had gotten the chance to play Bloodborne. I'm still crossing my fingers that it may eventually come out on PC, but honestly, I'm still crossing my fingers that, Demon Souls comes out on PC. I think it's more likely for the former to happen than the latter, but we can hope. Because I really don't have to want to, I don't, even though I want to buy a PS4, it would be a Bloodborne machine, and that's pretty much all I'd play on it. Well, that's used to be what I did for Final Fantasy, but that's another story entirely. Anyway, so hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.